What's up, YouTube? So sometimes I get asked these interesting questions, and this is another one. This one's about whose longevity impressed me the most. The nominees are George Foreman, LeBron James, and Jerry Rice. Three greats at their individual sports. We can do this when you compartmentalize. Of course, it requires some thoughts and some thinking, but I can break it down where I put who and why and what have you. Um, If I had to just on the naked eye of the three, who would I rank that was more impressive of the three? It's George Foreman. I'm sorry. Being a heavyweight boxing champion in your mid 40s, especially when you're out of, not look like you're at your apex of where you were, and to win like he did, I remember that back in '94. I was still blown away by that. I Because you were going against individuality. So individually, I thought he was far more impressive. I always like what Foreman said. Don't leave it to the refs. Handle your business. Don't leave nothing. You imagine LeBron James saying that? This guy in totality was impressive. So I thought that was mind blowing that he did that, considering he had taken a 10-year hiatus. But overall, when you think about it, he'd been fighting professionally for 28 years. So he made himself into an incredible specimen of a fighter that was able to sustain and be one of the true all time greats. So I don't even think about anything else about that. I think that what he did to be a champion in his mid 40s, that still is a standard that still blows my mind. LeBron James, 20 plus years in the NBA, all time leading scorer, and he's gonna have a lot of records and what he's accomplished, etc. Um, Team ball is different. If I go by the individual play, I think he peaked out I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago. He has spurts, but he really hasn't been that dude since, I would say, probably about 2017, 2018, if we're being honest. There's levels to this, and you can almost tell that the certain things about certain players that they might play longer doesn't necessarily mean that it's for the betterment. It's just that they are able to sustain. And he's been able to play at a certain level, but I'm not blown away by it like that. It doesn't hit like how Foreman still hit for me. So I can't say that. He has been successful and been able to stay relatively healthy, even though he missed a lot of time with the Lakers and so on and so forth. But looking at it from a perspective of what really moved me, I'm still more blown away what George Foreman did. Jerry Rice, I try not to act like the Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawk era never happened. Kind of like Emmitt Smith with the Arizona Cardinals and Michael Jordan to an extent with the Wizards and Shaquille O'Neal with the Celtics and Cavaliers. Try to tune that out. But he did look great with the Raiders. He did go to Super Bowl Rich Gannon with the Raiders, and he looked like he still has something in the tank. And there are moments that he played on a high, and he broke all kinds of records. Um, he set the standards for wide receivers. He belongs in the conversation with the goats of the goats in the NFL, and he had a great career. But I probably think he played about 4 or 5 years too long. And while he endured and stayed in shape and played, it wasn't quite the same. Um, I think he was great, probably of the three. Like if I was going to say who was greater at their sport, I'd say he was. But I think that in this question about who's later in their career performances impressed me more, I'm going to say George Foreman. I'm going to say that. So this is a great question about who impressed me the most later in their career and what they were able to accomplish and what they did and the journey. So, but it's a good question though, and you can do this in different sports and combine. You'd be surprised what you can. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.